Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome back to another episode of
That was a solid effort. He's rusty. It's been 2 weeks.
Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all-Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly.
You must learn the ways of the Force.
But I was going into Tashi Station to pick up some power converters.
Relax, stay on target, and enjoy the show. Hey, Star Wars fans, welcome back to another episode of Rebel Watch. I'm Ez, and this is Mike.
Hello.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm back. That's how I'm doing.
He's back. We are back. This episode is basically titled Rebel Watch Strikes Back.
It's been a couple weeks.
Sorry about that, guys. We were on a hiatus. I blame Mike.
It's my fault.
We were reading some novels, some Thrawn and Ahsoka and
Some Twilight.
what have you, some Twilight. Oh my gosh.
Or was I not supposed to disclose
You
that,
weren't supposed
or-
to tell me about that.
Okay.
That's our other podcast.
Yeah,
That's a
Shattered
night with-
Lights.
Yeah, Shattered Lights. Anyways, guys, so we are back. Little rusty.
Yeah.
We have some follow-up videos to do here, so this is going to be a lot of reading and looking at some of
That's right.
questions that were submitted, things that were said on YouTube.
It's a fun episode.
It's going to be a fun episode, we think. We hope. We'll see how it goes.
Yep.
So today, just kind of the outline, we're going to go through a Lightspeed Round. If you're wondering about Lightspeed Round and how you can participate, check out patreon.com/rebelwatch. We'll have a link down in the description. We've got about 2 questions from each of our patrons today, and then Mike and I came up with a few more ourselves, and we're going to
Yes.
talk about I'm nervous. It makes me nervous.
That's okay. You should be.
There's still an option on Patreon if you want us to read your Snoke theory. That would really give us some more content to go through and dive back into Snoke. Well, you don't think you and I have ever really done a Snoke theory. We've talked about it in the Unknown Regions video, and we've talked about it.
There's a lot
Aftermath,
there.
but so
It's coming.
any theories video you want, just hit us up there on Patreon, and we'll get it done for you.
That's right.
All right. So first things first, Lightspeed Round, and we're gonna start with, let's see, Lindsey Godotti.
Let's go, Lindsay.
Did I botch that, or is that right?
No, I think you nailed it. I think it's Lindsay Godotti.
Also, she's wonderful. Thank you so much for subscribing and for supporting us. We really do appreciate that. It means
really
a lot to us. Also, really disappointed we didn't bump into you at Star Wars Celebration.
Yes.
We're gonna look for you in 2019.
That's right.
Just so you know.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so Lindsay wrote in that she had a couple questions for us. So first question is for you. Lindsay writes, do you think Casterfo is still alive at the end of Bloodline?
Castarfo.
Castarfo.
I think it's Castarfo, but that's because I listened to the audiobook.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Casterfo.
Maybe I spelled it wrong.
Castarfo. I think you did. So I personally did not listen to it and have not finished this book. So
Yeah. So it was a question. Is he alive?
is he alive? And if so, do you think that it could be Del Toro in the new movie?
Yes, I think he's alive.
Castarfo.
Yes.
Okay. I think that might be
I
a
don't
Castar then.
Think. Hey man, I
But
mean,
you know what? Whatever.
I'll pull up Bloodlines right
know
now.
what?
Let's check.
Let's
You know
pull
what?
up that copy. No,
This-
go
yeah.
ahead. Go
All right. So I would say yes, I think he is. And then do I think he's Del Toro? No, and I think it's because Castarfo was he wasn't. He was a younger senator. I just look at the age of Del Toro and the actor that's playing him. I'm not so sure it's going to be him. I'm not saying he's not going to be in it or he's not going to be referenced, but unfortunately, I think if he is alive, I don't know. I really don't know, actually. That's a really good question. And so I kind of hid myself. I started to read something about Bloodlines. I was like, oh, that's probably a question for me, and I let Mike read it, so I wasn't prepped for this one.
That's
but,
okay. So, I mean, Bloodlines happened how far before?
Episode 7?
Yeah.
What was it? 6
years?
6 years, something like that.
And
6 or
this
7 years.
Castarfo, apparently that's what we're calling him,
Yeah.
was old enough to be a senator.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. He wasn't alive during like he was very young at the end of episode 6. He talks about he didn't know he worships and almost reveres the Empire and thinks that we need sort of that back now. We need some figure like Palpatine, but not Palpatine, with better morals and better better decision making, etc. Not the evil that was Emperor Palpatine. So interesting. It's sort of just that, like, it's almost like Anakin Skywalker's view of like, someone should be made to do this. They should be told what to do. He collects Imperial artifacts and things like that. So he's an interesting character, but I mean, he definitely supports Leia in that book and speaks up for her, and that's sort of what I don't want to spoil any of that for anybody, but that's he runs into some issues when he starts to support her. When it comes out that Darth Vader's her father, everyone turns on her. And
so I kind of like the idea of Del Toro being this individual. Then
I mean, it could be. It would be that political figure maybe, but he just seems like a man in black who is not necessarily. But I mean, if this Kastarfa falls from the graces of government, or not grace, but he falls from that society or that realm into a darker part of the galaxy, then maybe.
Yeah.
So, okay. Was that it from her?
I think that was it from Lindsey.
Lindsey, thank you.
Thank you so much.
I wish I would have read it ahead of time. I'm sorry now.
That's okay. And then he could have corrected my pronunciation.
Oh, my God. Because actually, Lindsey, I'm going to go do some research on that because I just saw you said something about bloodlines. And I was like, oh, cool. I know everything there is to know about bloodlines. No, I don't, apparently. So I'm not.
It's been a while since you read that.
Well, and that's just speculating. She wants to kind of speculate as to whether.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Interesting stuff.
There we go.
Thank you, Lindsey.
All right, awesome. So next we got our friend, and I could be saying this wrong, so we'll see if I get this username right or not.
Yeah.
JCholo?
Let's go with JCholo. I like
or
that.
JCholo?
If it's not JCholo, it should be.
It should be JCholo.
It sounds awesome.
So anyways, he also, huge shout out to you, my man. We really appreciate you, and it's been nice conversing with him on Patreon and stuff like that. But he's got a couple good questions here.
Maybe it's JCholo.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I guess I didn't. Maybe it is.
Could be.
We need like a pronunciation. I'm a little dyslexic, and
I think I probably am too.
I'm rubbing off on Mike. I don't know.
That's right.
All right, so I'm gonna read this one to Mike because I already read this one ahead of time here. So
hit me.
He says, I was wondering what you two thought about the end of Empire's End. Do you think Sloane is still alive?
Well, the end of it definitely leads us to believe that she.
Here's a I'm going to follow up to that because we know she is still alive there.
His
question is actually, is she on the Super Star Destroyer with Snoke?
Yeah, but I don't. She doesn't seem. She's survived of all the villains in this trilogy. She's a villain. I don't know. She was still pretty compassionate in my opinion. So I think she did survive. But I don't think she's. I don't know. I don't think it doesn't feel like she's probably played that big of a role in starting this new First Order.
Well, and also his sort of a follow up. I mean, he kind of goes on to say, and furthermore, in The Last Jedi, do you think that she's still a character we could see in The Last Jedi? She would be older, but she's a part of maybe the back remnants of this First Order.
I don't think think so. I really liked her character, but then again, I didn't see her being the one at the end to say this is my new empire. So maybe I'm totally wrong.
Right.
So I didn't see that happening at all. So maybe I'm totally wrong, and that I don't think she will. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I would say to JCholo.
Yeah,
I would say the Phasma book's coming out. New Phasma book.
Yeah. So,
and I think if we have any. I know it's supposed to kind of like how does she survive, all that sort of stuff. How does she get off of Starkiller Base? I think from what we heard at Star Wars Celebration, but I think there's going to be some flashbacks. There's going to be some hinting at maybe her origins. Don't you think?
Maybe we'll see her in more books.
Yeah, so we might see some of that if she, because I mean, that if when you read Empire's End, you get this hint that this tall girl was there and she was. It appears to be Phasma.
Yeah.
Yeah, a young Phasma, who's a part of indoctrinated into the First Order. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to get. I think if Sloane's a part of that process with Hux, Hux Senior and Hux Junior, I think we're going to get more of that maybe in the Phasma book.
Definitely, I agree with that.
So hang in there. I think that's coming, and we're going to read that and try to get more of that out to you.
Definitely.
All right. Okay. Awesome. Now, next. Actually, no. I'm sorry. One more thing.
Yeah.
And this is really not a yes or no question. Are we going to see any book characters have a role in the films? So characters that we see in the books that we might think or speculate, and I'm not sure if we're talking about current canon or if we're talking about Legends, because they do, I think, could bring back some characters from Legends into The Last Jedi and into Episode 9.
Either see, I don't know if we'll necessarily see any characters. Will we hear them referenced? Yes. And you know who I think we're absolutely going to hear about?
Who?
Thrawn.
Okay. Yep.
Right?
Yep, I'm with you.
Of all people that have made it into the television, they've made it into new canon. I feel like especially, and I haven't finished Thrawn.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Almost.
Right. But my sense is that he is hugely important to this new First Order.
Yeah.
So if anyone, I wouldn't have said that prior to reading that book.
Right. As you start to read Thrawn, and especially when you finish Thrawn, I think he is a character that I'm kind of blown away by, honestly. The ending of Thrawn, we have a video coming up right after this where we have a theory based on that. There's going to be some major spoilers in it. But it's epic. I think his role, I think, is a game changer, and I think he definitely could be something that we see in film. I'm trying to think of other characters that we might see from maybe Bloodlines or Aftermath. I mean, you do see, what's his name? Snaps. You see some of that.
Yeah, we saw him in Force Awakens.
Right. I mean, just
I
as
would
a
have said
background character.
Gallius Rax.
Yeah, you would have said that, but he's dead.
Are we sure?
And Mike keeps going with the Gallius Rax.
I'm telling you, he
alive.
was in those dang temples
with
or whatever you call them, with the artifacts.
Yeah, the observatory with the artifacts.
Yeah.
Yep.
I am not letting that down.
Oh, God. Yeah.
It's the IPA.
It's the IPA getting to Mike already. Good Lord. So, I don't know. I'd have to think a little bit more on that because, I don't know. Yeah. That's a really good question. Because really all we have like coming up in more films, like unless we get like an Obi-Wan standalone where you might have Ahsoka show up.
Interesting. Oh, that'd be so awesome.
Or something crazy like that.
Don't tempt me with that.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be crazy? I mean, she's such a, fans love Ahsoka and they love Obi-Wan. To have them cross even for a moment or to have her codename referenced and stuff in that film
so sick.
Would be really cool. But I don't know. We're speculating about whether an Obi-Wan standalone's coming out as well there. So yeah, we'll kind of see.
Yes. Great
All right.
questions.
Good question. Next, we just want to give a little shout out here to Jedi Master Aragorn. Aragorn, sorry.
Yes.
We do like Lane. Oh gosh, I'm gonna mess this up.
Come on.
Lanecaster, ManofStone. That is hilarious. Lane, I did not actually look at your username until today. I went and looked at it. I was just cracking up. So big shout out to our buddy Lane. He's also working on a project. We're putting a little pressure on him right here.
That's right. Big Star Wars fan.
Big Star Wars fan. He hits us up weekly, all the time, and is telling us how much he enjoys Star Wars and the theories, and he's got some speculation and some thoughts of his own. But just give us some really good reviews on iTunes, and we really appreciate that. Thanks, Lynn.
Awesome, man.
Also, he's working on a little art project that no one else has thought of this. It's such a genius idea. We're so humbled by what he's doing, and
I want to show a preview, and I wanted to show it right now.
I know, but I told Mike to calm down and wait a second. You can't rush. It's like rushing George Martin. You just can't do it.
That's
you
true.
let him work.
That's true. That's
true. But anyways, thanks, Lane. One thing Elaine and I were talking about the other day was Kyle Katarn and whether or not maybe he's a character sort of like Thrawn that was in a lot of the literature. But I mean, Kyle was also in the games. Yeah. Wow. Jedi Outcast and Jedi Knights and what have you.
My favorite Empire War.
Yeah. Yeah, except both sort of force using abilities, he was there as that tactical.
He was a terrible hero in that game.
Yeah, but still, he's in it. So he has an interesting story, and Late Night was kind of, are we going to see him? I would love to see him. I think people, if he showed up on screen, people would lose their minds.
Or most of them would probably say, "Who's that?"
No, I'm talking Die Hard. Yeah,
but this is deep and sweaty.
Well, it's I know you're right. Well, it's like for example when Thrawn came out and we were watching Star Wars Celebration Europe, and it's like for that type of fan base, you're like, oh my God, you've got those people. Now newer fans who haven't played these old games, they're just getting into Episode 7, maybe not. So to them, it's a new character that is going to be cool. To us, there's nostalgia, and we like.
But
that.
those Timothy Zahn novels, though, were pretty big time.
They were big
Those
time.
are New York Times bestsellers.
They were. But I also think, let's see, in literature, he was also in things like there's a Bloodline series where Exile and Fury and Sacrifice,
Dark Forces.
Legacy of the Force, where he was mentioned a lot. Which those were good books. Those were kind of towards the end of George Lucas, right, leading into several years before the selling of Star Wars. So I don't know. I mean, he was still a character that fans were in love with and wanted to see in literature and in games. So I don't know. I think it could be. It's worth a whole other video to kind of explain who Kyle Katarn is and talk about video games and stories and what his role was. I mean, if you don't know, he was one of Luke's apprentices, his Padawans or Jedi apprentices in the new Jedi Academy, and he kind of goes back and forth on whether he's in the video games. He drifts a little bit. He kind of leaves, doesn't want to be a Jedi, comes back, and he eventually is. And
sounds like a Skywalker.
He's an outcast. So I don't know. He's a cool character, and he is very loyal to Luke in the end.
Also great with a blaster and explosives.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways, there we go on that. So that's it for shout outs and sort of our. We had an initial Lightspeed round there, and now we are going to jump into Mike and I's question.
And seriously, thank you guys for those comments.
Yeah.
This totally blew me away. Can I just say, when Ez first said, you know what, let's do a Patreon account, I was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. We're not going to get any response, and we're not going to get questions that we asked for, and it's happening, and it blows me away. I was blown away when you told me about this today.
I know. I couldn't believe you guys.
So great.
You guys don't understand. Just driving to work and then checking your phone and then hitting Mike up and saying, "You're not going to believe this," screenshotting it, sending it to him.
Awesome. Yeah.
It just kind of blows our minds. So I don't know. I think we're with you guys on the speculation, and we like to comment. We like the community. I really think.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars. YouTube, you get into different spots and you get into these different places with podcasting communities that can be good niches and stuff. But Star Wars as a whole, when we went to Star Wars Celebration, the people, the culture around it, the type of people that it attracts are good people.
They are.
And so,
Means
except
the
for that
world
guy
to
that
us.
cut in front of us at the... I'm kidding. No, there was
Still love him, but what a jerk.
So really, honestly, we really do. Thank you guys.
Means the world to us. Thank you.
Means the world. All right, back and forth. Lightspeed round. You ready to go?
Oh, I'm so ready. 5 questions, yes or no,
Yeah.
unless you need to add a little, addendum to your answer.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But the Lightspeed rounds are underway.
We kind of rushed some of this to get these questions out to you guys, but still.
I put a lot of thought into mine.
Okay, well, I kind of rushed mine.
I'm kidding.
But if you guys are sitting there thinking about things and you want to email us or whatever and you want to include it, like I said, check out Patreon, let us know, and we'll do that and make them more clever than ours.
Hey, that's okay. Sometimes cheesy is fun.
Yeah, it is. You want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay.
Because I'm ready.
Let's see. Will Rey lose a limb in episode 8?
Stop it. That was one of my questions.
Are you kidding me?
I swear.
Are you
was
serious?
my last question.
Well, sorry. Okay.
I do. I think she's going to.
Okay.
I feel like that's something that's just...
A lot of people have talked about it. We've just never ourselves,
Well, it's also something that just sticks with kind of the storyline, but it's something that's not even really... I mean, it ended up being significant, but what effect did it have on the character? I mean, other than Luke, looked at his hand, as did kind of Vader, I think, when he was saving his son or whatever. But I think she will, and it can be a little storyline. I don't know, but
You want to know what effect it'll have? 30 years later, when 30 years later,
what
from
kind
now,
of technology?
when they're doing a new trailer and she puts her hand on BB-8, I'm gonna lose my. Hopefully, I won't be alive. Well, hopefully, I'll be alive and I can watch that.
That's right. No, that's a great point. Maybe.
Oh God.
But yeah,
sorry, I didn't mean to steal your question.
No, that's okay. Now I just have one less question.
Right,
that's a good question. Should Chewbacca have received a medal after Episode 4?
Yeah, a lot of places say yes, he should have, and I mean, a lot of the literature and things, and when you read up on Wikipedia, they actually say that he did receive a medal. It's just where was it?
Where was it?
Maybe they needed a ladder to get up there and put it on him, but I don't know. Yeah, he totally should have. Why didn't he?
I don't know.
Discrimination. Mark Hamill's been
Has anyone ever explained why it's not?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know why it's like.
Should we tweet at Pablo?
Yeah, I'm sure people have discussed it and things. I don't know. Mark Hamill makes light of it, and the Wookiee should have had a medal.
It's a serious matter, though. He did just as much to save the galaxy as anyone else.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely, he did. So he had to keep the rear deflector shield up.
Yeah.
So
it's important.
Gosh. Okay. Let's see. Gosh. Here's a question for you, Mike, and this is just you personally sort of thinking about you in the Star Wars universe. The universe. Is it important to know the odds?
No.
Okay.
It's not.
All right, just making sure.
I specifically ask you to never tell me the odds.
Okay, all right, just making sure. Never tell me the odds, huh?
I actually had a moment.
Why does C-3PO? Well, go ahead.
Okay, so now here's a perfect example.
This is what these questions are for.
Reference. On May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
My department, scheduled let's have a Star Wars potluck.
Cool.
And I went home with 0 ideas, sat on the couch, thought about it for hours.
Right.
And then saw a really great idea online to make Admiral Akbar cupcakes.
Yeah.
And I told my wife at 10 o'clock, I said, I'm going to make these cupcakes. And she said, you're crazy.
Right.
You're never going to be able to do that. And I said, never tell me the odds.
Oh my
I went to the store. I got the baking supplies. And you know what? I'm going to post
a picture.
Right now, you're going to see a picture posted this video of these amazing cupcakes that I made.
Yeah.
So I prefer to not be told the odds because it just makes me that much more determined.
Well, it's like if you don't want Mike to get something done,
you might as well tell me that I'm going to succeed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I'm just going to say, I know.
Like, yeah, the odds are great. So Mike's like, okay, well then why try?
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. No, I could not agree more.
That's hilarious.
I just lost access to your computer.
I can't believe you just called your wife out. Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God. Hold on,
did.
Guys.
This is embarrassing.
I can't be saying
this is
my
embarrassing.
I can't be saying my password.
You might try to access his Mac.
Well, this is my password for everything. So if I would have said this out loud,
yep,
we wouldn't have been podcasting
It's
anymore.
Womp Rat. But yeah, so
why would you say that on camera?
I'm sorry, man. That's hack into all of his single account he has. It's Womp Rat.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I don't have my Mac today, so we're rocking SS Mac. Kind of a serious question. Do you want to see Hayden Christensen in episode 8?
I don't want to see him. I want to hear him.
Okay.
Yeah. I just don't. I think it would be.
Are you mad at him for the prequels?
Well, no. The thing is that like I get that they want to put him having Hayden in there as the Force Ghost for Anakin Skywalker. I get it for your young people who were first getting into Star Wars and sort of seeing it 1 through 6. Mm-hmm. But I still believe that when Anakin Skywalker turns back to the light side, that is one of his strongest moments. It's really hard to do that, and he is older when he does that. He is, Now I think having his voice being Anakin Skywalker talking to Kylo Ren or Ben Solo or whoever, maybe Leia, is not a bad idea.
I'm like, who the heck is this kid?
But I don't think they did it. I didn't hear a whole lot of, I don't know. We didn't realize that Ewan McGregor rode in on his motorcycle and did some recording for episode,
exactly
7.
Yep.
So,
exactly.
Goodness. Okay.
All
right. Next, here's a toss back to the prequels.
Come
on. Did Count Dooku realize Palpatine was going to have him replaced by Anakin and killed?
How could he not have?
Okay, so no? Or yes?
I think so.
Okay. You don't think the look in his eyes when he looks and he says kill him. You don't think that look sort of says like he didn't expect it?
So that immediate, maybe not in that immediate moment because it was.
Yeah, I get you.
Anakin, but he was talking to Obi-Wan, trying to convince Obi-Wan to join him.
Right.
I think he's well aware that the Emperor has no plans of keeping him around.
Okay. Right.
Kind of seems like that.
Good point. He does say that with Obi-Wan joining him, that they could be powerful enough to, or whoever joining him could destroy. He wants to rule himself.
Yeah, I think they all know.
And he is a Sith Lord. He is Darth Tyrannus, so he does know that he is that rule of 2 is still happening, and that if he can't hack it, then
Yeah.
He's gone. He's a goner.
Yeah, I think they all kind of understand that.
All right, we'll toss back to Count.
Another serious question for the Lightspeed rounds. Will the light side and dark side unite to face a common foe?
Yes. And I can't believe I'm saying this. You know,
Let's
Mike hears
go.
me talk
Come
about
on.
stuff. We were in the car. He hears me talking about different theories and thoughts. You know, Mike, those are private moments when I'm really,
Right.
really trying to dig
Really
deep.
vulnerable.
I'm very vulnerable, and Mike just took advantage of that in the Lightspeed round.
I mean, I think Chingy was playing on the radio or something, and that's just getting really, really vulnerable.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Well, so
Holiday Inn was playing.
Exactly. Yeah, I do think so. And this is coming up on our next podcast, our next video.
Yeah.
I actually think that there's a lot that happened at the end of the Thrawn novel. And I think there's a lot hinted at by Thrawn that suggests the need for a strong empire. If not that, then perhaps the light side and the dark side users need to join forces for an enemy that's on its way.
They're just not strong enough.
So yes, my answer is yes.
Okay. Lightspeed rounds.
All right. Let's see. The next one I have here.
I mean, I would like it as we're a little more animated in the Lightspeed rounds.
We talking about?
I think it's the Bahama Mama that you're drinking.
Mystic Mama.
Mystic Mama.
Yeah.
Oops.
Why are we always advertising for our IPAs?
Because you know what? As Psychopathy says it's madness in a can.
It is madness in
So,
a can. Oh,
can't
my
help
gosh. If you want to see madness in a can unleashed, go check out Caravan of Courage. God, that was fun.
That was fun. We also owe them another Battle of Endor video.
We owe you
we'll
that.
Talk
It's
about
coming
it later.
It's coming. All right. Last question for me in this round.
Ooh.
Is Ahsoka still alive?
Currently?
Yeah,
Like
currently.
episode 7 era?
No, I mean, is she alive? We're in Rebels. So let's shift you to Rebels.
Yes, Rebels. Absolutely.
So, I mean, because as
That
it
is
stands,
Dave Filoni's character.
Okay.
He wouldn't just let it end without being explained. At least, even if she's dead, you're going to see that explanation.
Okay.
It's going to be a huge part of episode or season 4. Huge.
Huge? Okay. All right.
Not just huge. Huge.
Huge. Good to know.
That's right. I have a couple more questions.
You got 2 more?
2 more questions.
I'll read them to you.
One really quick. Will we see puffin like animals on Oct 2? 1.
Yes.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely, we're sure.
Okay.
And I actually think that there's a connection to the Force. I know that the Force flows through all living beings, but I think there's something more with these characters.
Luke's just some crazy old bird man out there.
He's a bird man talking to the
I
puffins.
hope so.
Oh my God.
I hope so. Actually, I don't have another question because you stole it with the Rey.
Her limb. Well, I'll answer it. I think that she does too.
Okay.
Or if she doesn't, then I think Kylo does, or one of them is going to lose a limb.
Yeah.
It might just, if they're going to try to parallel 5, maybe not the light side user losing the arm, but maybe someone else. What if Luke loses another arm?
Loses other one. That'd actually be kind of great.
Oh gosh, craziness.
Be down.
All right, craziness. Here we go. We got to move on because we got some other things we want to work on here.
Yeah.
D-23 coming up July 14th through the 16th. We're gonna pay close attention to that. What do you think? If anything,
go.
I want to go too so bad.
But there's gonna be a lot of Disney stuff. So it's not just gonna be Star Wars, but still want to go.
Maybe we should go. Yeah.
We'll
let us know if we should go.
We'll
'cause
see.
We're gonna put it on Mike's credit card.
Yeah, put it on, man.
So let's
it's fake
go.
money anyway. So.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What would we see even if we follow it from afar? What people have been hinting new trailer in the summer.
People
that
talking Han
summer.
Solo, an unfinished kind of something
Right.
because there's nothing that's gonna be that polished. It's gonna be some unfinished scene or whatever, but something's coming.
Okay. But do you think there's anything for Last Jedi?
Nah,
No trailer.
not for D-23.
So when are we gonna get the trailer?
I don't know.
God. Okay.
I don't know.
Too many secrets around the Last Jedi. They can't reveal a whole lot in the trailer.
That's the thing, and maybe we need to go back and look because someone did show me a really awesome comparison. They put the first Force Awakens trailer right up against the first Last Jedi trailer,
Sure.
and they are cut exactly the same. So it
I've
seems
seen
like
that.
they're really sticking to that. So we can follow that template and identify when that second one came out. I don't know when that was. It felt like it was quite a bit further away from that. I don't know. I could be wrong. So maybe.
Yeah, we go back and look at the timeline.
Would they show a Last Jedi and a Han Solo? I feel like they
No,
have
I
to
don't think they're
Han
going to show. Oh, you think they're going to show Han Solo?
something.
Yeah, maybe they are. Maybe they are. Yeah, good point. I didn't think about that. I was thinking there's going to be a big release for the Obi-Wan movie. That they weren't ready to talk about it yet because they weren't. Yeah, I don't think they wanted to take away from the 40th.
You're right.
You know,
I think you're absolutely right. Actually,
yeah, right.
I think Kathleen Kennedy even said expect this summer for an announcement
for the 2020 film.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think you're right.
Yeah, okay.
So an announcement and maybe something from Han Solo, I'd be down with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then sometime later, there's surprises with the drop for the trailer.
I just don't know what to expect in another Last Jedi trailer.
We're doing a reaction for that when you guys are going to see
Yeah.
that live because, I mean...
I enjoyed that first one so much.
Guys, just a quick flashback for us. Mike and I were reminiscing about Star Wars Celebration. And I think we're going to go every single year for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
We were standing. We were standing because everyone was standing in the Last Jedi panel, the live panel.
Epic.
When they showed the end of that... Like when we got to the end, it was like we were cheering on the planet, the forest moon of Endor, with the Ewoks. I mean, it was like we had just destroyed the second Death Star. It was so awesome.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I want to see that trailer in a theater.
I know.
Because I've only watched it online, and it's so boring online.
What are you talking about?
There's no surround sound. I don't feel immersed in it.
All right.
But when we were there, it was amazing.
That's true.
But I want to see it in a theater again, and it's probably at Guardians of the Galaxy. So we need to see that movie.
Yeah, we need to get to see that movie. That's true. Okay, so cool. That's just D23 coming up, and just pay attention to that. Should be some more news coming out. Been kind of a dry spell for Star Wars news, really, honestly.
After Celebration, it's just kind of
yeah. If you check out Now This Is Podcasting, they're always getting some concept art. Jason Ward and those folks are getting some things.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's neat, and they're doing some talks on what maybe the new AT-ATs could be.
I like seeing that stuff after the movie.
Me too.
I like seeing what they changed and what they were inspired from.
Yeah.
I
gotta say, the whole premise for their podcast is that it's just the making of.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get through that and sort of like analyze what would they use or what would they pull from. Are they pulling from any of the old archive? Concept art and things like that.
Yeah.
So
that's what I enjoyed about watching the Rogue One special features. Is that they went through all that, and it was just awesome looking back and seeing the inspiration. But yeah, that's all I got.
Okay, so now to finish this episode,
this is what scares me.
This is scary. So this is scary for us guys. If we botch this, we're really sorry. We're going to talk a little bit about Reylo.
Oh man, I didn't even know this was a thing until we had some folks commenting on videos. I had no idea this was a thing.
See, I knew this was. I had heard something about it right when we were at Star Wars Celebration, and I had, in just doing some research and reading up or watching some videos of other YouTubers and things, I had heard about it. And I think I watched like the first 5 minutes of someone's video, and I'll have to go get the link and give them credit for it. But I turned it off. I was like, I was like, I thought maybe it was one of those, like, your 5 most outlandish Star Wars theories. I'm like, whoa,
great.
But then I've realized through Twitter and other forums that, especially when we did this video, just with our small, group of subscribers and people who watch our channel, which we thank you for, that people were like blown away. We did not even mention the Reylo theory.
We did that whole segment in a recent video about Star Wars romance and how we thought there would be something, but this didn't even cross my mind.
Right.
Not once when I watched The Force Awakens did this cross my mind.
Right. So what do you think about it, Mike? What are your just initial thoughts? We've got, and we want to give some credit to some people here. Janet Ruby.
Yeah.
Let's see.
She was killing it in the comments.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like your comments were so detailed and so, well thought out
and respectful too,
and very respectful.
That's what we like.
And we do like that a lot because her opinions very much clash with. Not very much clash, but like they were different from a lot of folk.
Yeah.
But at the same time, able to say that, if it does go a different way, then that's totally fine. And I'm okay with that. But like, don't be surprised if this is the way it turns out. And I'm kind of like, whoa, thanks for the warning because I'm like, no, I mean that would have been a shocker.
Yes.
So
yeah.
But she does hint. Go ahead. Your first initial reaction. Then I'll get into what she says.
I just don't like. I don't personally like it, and because what was a love story a really pivotal, necessary thing in the Star Wars original trilogy, maybe, I guess. But I don't think they're going to be going in that direction. Will there be like a romance? Yes. But I think I don't think it's going to have anything to do with the main storyline, to be honest. I don't think Disney's taken in that direction because I think we had very strong female characters in the original trilogies,
right.
And you can make arguments for the prequels as well. But
right.
I just feel like that may take away from these really awesome, strong, particularly Rey, female heroines that we have now in Star Wars. I think that might take a little bit away from that. I don't think it's necessary to have Rey be in a romance with anyone in this.
So you don't think there's going to be a romance?
I think there will be, maybe not necessarily with Rey. I think
what you're trying to say, just because it's not that it's going to take away from, not that having a romance would take away from something like that, but it's just that it's not going to be the focus.
Exactly.
It's where you put the attention and the screen time.
And that's the thing. I think it's I don't know. There's something much bigger going on with her, and I think,
right.
Janet kind of mentioned some compassion that Snoke picks up on in the novelization, and why I think that's the case. I don't think that's like a love. I think it's like a respect and I need to figure out who this is, and I'm not just going to destroy this individual. I need to understand this, and maybe he hasn't really had a chance to interact with anyone else that's force sensitive like this. Well, maybe Snoke, but maybe
since he's fallen to the dark side, it's like all he knows is this Luke, who was this light-sided user, who something happened between he and Luke to where he wanted to destroy Luke, and he wants to destroy his academy and turn his followers. And now he sees someone who is not related to Luke, who's not associated with Luke as far as he knows. Maybe I'm speculating, and he thinks I can be attracted to that type of person. What is this other force? What is this other? It's not. She's not a Jedi.
Yeah,
the Force is strong with her. And it doesn't. Maybe it's sort of mystifying him a little bit. We're still in the early, stages of Luke developing his academy and things. And he, by the time Ben gets there, I think Luke had well established an academy too. Not well established, but he was not a youngling, but younger in the academy.
Yeah, that's true.
Than maybe others. So
that's true.
I get what you're saying. It's also maybe a curiosity into, like you said, the compassion. I think Snoke is looking for elements or traces of compassion in Ben Solo, right?
To direct him from that, or do you think he thinks he needs that to be?
No, I think it's to direct him from. I think he needs to destroy it. He needs
He
needs to kill it to make him stronger. It's sort of like why he has to kill Han Solo, his father.
Exactly.
So I think the next target is going to be his mother, but I don't know now. He's bring her to me. He wants to kind of deal with this in his own court. But some of the things that people mentioned, and I also throw here Black-Eyed Lily, I think is how you say it. Under the Northern Star, some of these guys mentioned. That we didn't mention this theory, and they had some good thoughts here. Trinity, who we met at Star Wars Celebration, big shout out to you. Thanks for the comment. She posted an article and kind of talked, and she and Janet went back and forth just about. Trinity mentioned the characterization, and in her comment, I know there's an article attached where it talks about many more things, but she mentions that the characterization of Rey, like you said, it could take away from that. It could take away from the character building, and could take away from a stronger theme that the directors and the writers are trying to communicate with us. Now, if it's subtle, if this Reylo idea and theory is subtle, at one point she mentions that it could be this Phantom of the Opera sort of thing. Somebody mentions that, a connection, I think it was her daughter, and talking about that it would, how do I put this, that the attention or the love or the what have you would not be reciprocated.
Could be.
Right, so that it's more Ben Solo or Kylo seeking her out and being attracted to that, but yet she's not interested.
Could be.
So I don't know. And if it's a subtle thing like that, where he becomes maybe obsessed with, like, maybe it's an obsession sort of love, where he's like obsessed about being her master and teaching her and guiding her and getting to know her because he's curious and he's very interested, and he's almost just, what he knows of Jedi and Force users, I think, is through Luke.
Yeah.
And under Luke's teachings.
And I think that obsession, like you said, I think it could be just in the fact that, Han was fond of her.
Right.
We're assuming Luke will be fond of her, and why didn't that pan out for Ben?
Yeah,
there could be some jealousy in there. I think more than maybe maybe it's I don't know. I don't know. It just kind of gets complicated. But so, do you think that that's going to be a thing? Do you think Reylo will be a thing?
You know, the way, and I will say the way that I heard it explained, and I actually looked up some articles and we tried to read up on this. There's not actually a lot article wise. There's videos on YouTube that you can go where other people are kind of speculating about it, and those are good. Those are good to look at. Screen Rant, which Trinity throws down here as an article that you can go look at in the comments of that video. Do I think it's going to be a thing in this video? Do I realistically think it's going to happen? No.
Gotcha.
But if there were elements of an obsessive sort of like very interested or very curious, Kylo Ren or Ben Solo into Rey, I can see it's sort of like a warning, like a don't be surprised if this happens. Because I have a theory that I'm going to throw out in our next video that it's like, do I really think that's going to happen? No. Is there a chance? Yes. Yeah. And I think that's the fun, that's what's neat and fun about speculating. So, which is what I want everyone to remember when we do these videos and when you're commenting and things. It's like, it's because you have to, you're building a case for something, right? Yeah. You're taking, I like the way she talks about how he sort of cradled Rey, or I think it was Janet had said this, or someone said that cradled Rey when he was taking her into his ship and was going to interrogate her, and felt like in the novelization that he didn't want to read her mind, but he had to because he had to get that information, but didn't want to, almost maybe didn't go about it. You didn't maybe use all of his power like he did against Poe.
Yeah.
And then immediately meets a block and is dumbfounded and curious as to why he is having this block from Rey and why she's able to read his mind. So that's the extent to which I think it will go. I actually, quite frankly, some of the theories out there are that they're related, and that I think if you think that, which we really did when we left the movies, we thought, and listening to Daisy Ridley talk about how her character is, she thought her parents or her heritage was obvious. Now, if you go with the Obi-Wan theory, and it's obvious because it's Obi-Wan, and you hear Obi-Wan say Rey, and these are your first steps, and he's guiding her, and you think that the heritage goes to the Kenobis, then there could be a relationship there, okay?
Yeah.
But if you think that they're cousins or potentially siblings, then no. And that's what Mike and I thought. That's sort of why we didn't even really think about it. We didn't even give it a whole lot of thought because I thought, well, they're cousins. They're gonna be related, and this is going to be sort of a showdown. Yeah. Because you look back at some of the old Legends material with Jace and Anakin Solo and Ben Skywalker, and Ben Skywalker was trained by Jason, and I meant to say Jason. Ben was trained by Jason, and he had to eventually there was confrontation there, and they had to sort of. So there was between Luke and Leia's kids some confrontation, and there were things happening. So I kind of thought maybe that's where they're trying to go. But this could be just a big old, lead us down this path and then take us off into the woods somewhere.
No, I agree.
So who knows? I don't know. I think it's really good thoughts, and I like, and we have to appreciate this. Just so you know, we do appreciate this theory because it's deep and sweaty.
And it can't. We had no idea.
We didn't think about.
No idea.
No idea. When I first and I didn't mean to dismiss it so much when I first saw it. I was just looking for something else, and I was like, wow, there's so much speculation I've got to go look into because it's really cool, but. Just mind-blowing a little bit. Yeah. And so we appreciate you guys bringing it up. And, we posted the video. I was texting Mike. I was like, well, apparently we missed something.
Apparently something huge.
So this is just sort of our follow-up to that. Do you realistically think, you've said, you don't think it's going to be a thing?
I don't. I think, if anything, that character Rose... I think her and Finn will have something going on. It just seems like, I don't know. We didn't really see anything in Rogue One, and I understand that was kind of we're throwing a lot of characters in for this one event, and there wasn't a lot of relationship building there. But we got a little taste of there could have been something there at the end. But
right.
We're dealing with a whole trilogy here. I think there will be something. I don't know. I feel like Disney's built up these really great characters to where it's not necessary. I don't think it would take away from anything.
One thing that they could, I've seen people talk about this, and I wouldn't mind if this happened either, is it's a story of friendships. Exactly. You know, it's a story of friendships and relationships in that sense, and not necessarily a love interest.
Yeah.
That could come along later on in some side novels. That could be down the road when they go beyond 9 and introduce new characters. But this could be a story of friendships.
Could be.
So
everyone's just friends.
Yeah. They just all pat each other on the back. And
that's right. Give them a mad tree and get trashed.
All right. So, let us know, guys. I mean, if there's anything, we didn't do a whole lot. I mean, a lot of it, there's a lot of evidence out there actually to not that makes this theory, make sense.
Yeah.
In the way that he handles and he approaches Rey. So I do totally acknowledge that. I just didn't connect to the love interest. And the Phantom of the Opera, analogy I thought was great.
It's cool, yeah.
So really neat. It's just it's out there, but it
could be something there.
There's a chance.
Yeah,
there's a chance. So, all right, guys, let us know what you think down in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have time, we're about to do another big theory video here. We also have a Thrawn review coming.
That's right.
Pressure Mike to get this bad boy done. We're almost there.
Plowing through.
He's got a few chapters, but I think when we do our Thrawn review, it's going to be a much longer talk because there is so much in that book that is so important going forward.
And just if you get a chance to read any of it, just read the first couple chapters. You're going to be blown away.
You will be.
You're going to think, how did Timothy Zahn do it again?
I don't think this book helps us understand Thrawn in a way that we never understood him in Legends. I'll tell you that much.
You're going to be rooting for him.
Yeah, you're going to be rooting for him big time. I'm still rooting for him.
That's right.
So, anyways, all right, guys, thanks so much. Really appreciate your support and appreciate you watching. Please stay tuned, and may the Force be with you. Dun 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 dun.
Is that good?
That was good. Here we go.